Hey guys, and welcome to another 9.1 video. And for today's video, we are going to go over all the new pets. There is a ton of them, so let's get started. The Eye of Affliction. This one comes out of Korthia and the Maw. Okay, so at the top left of the screen, we have the Golden Eye. At the bottom left, we have the Eye of Extermination. And the one in the middle is the Eye of All-Seeing. The abilities that you will get with these four pets is Eye Blast, Dark Bolt, Interrupting Gaze, Creeping Insanity, Eye Beam, and Portal. I personally really like the red one, the bottom left. Yeah, that's the one I would want out of the four of these. You know, obviously I'll want them all, but if I had to choose one, I would choose the red. Also worth noting here that the Eye of Affliction, the first one I showed you that drops out of Korthia and the Maw through pet battles, is the only confirmed source, so we're not totally sure where the other three come from. But I imagine it probably would be through the same method as Eye of Affliction. Okay, next up we have these guys. So the one you see at the left is called the Mossworn Minion. The one you see in the middle is called the Gilded Dark Knight. And at the top right corner of the screen, we have Mordal Evening Star. And on the bottom right of the screen, we have Rook. No known source yet on where we get these guys. There is one of them I do know the abilities for, and that is the top right guy there, the Evening Star. So I imagine his abilities would be the same for all four of them. So the abilities are Club, Cleave, Iron Skin, Counter-Strike, Clobber, and Mighty Charge. And yeah, like I said, we're not sure where they come from quite yet. In the tip, it does talk about Tormentor of Souls and all that, so probably the Maw. Okay, next up, we have the Claw-type pets. At the top left, we have Iron Grasp. At the bottom left, Grappling Gauntlet. At the top right, we have Grip of Terror. And we're just going to stop at those three since those are the same kind. So all three of those can be found through the Maw. And their abilities are Bone Bite, Scratch, Sledge Belch, Sledge Claw, Meat Hook, and Reanimate. Okay, at the bottom right side, we have the Clinging Remains, and this one can also be found in the Maw, and the abilities will be Punch, Shadow Slash, Face Punch, Death Grip, Return to Rest, and Haunt. And the one in the middle is called Lost a Limb, a pet battle out in the Maw, and the abilities will be Grasp, Punch, Sledge Claw, Squeeze, Death Grip, and Bash. Okay, next up we have three pets that are supposed to be cats. Might not look like it, but that is what they are supposed to be. The top left one is called Curious Perkin. The one you see in the middle is called Gizmo. And the one you see at the right side is Silver Perkin. These are found in Tazavesh, the Veiled Market, which is going to be a new area in 9.1. And they can be obtained through pet battles. And their abilities will be Scratch, Bite, Leap, Rend, Prowl, and Mangle. Next up, we have these cute little guys that I'm looking really forward to obtaining. I love pretty much all those colors, so yeah. I'm favoring the green and red right now. Okay, at the top left of the screen, we have Domestic Onion. At the bottom left, we have Young Garnet Gullet. In the middle, we have Corthian Specimen. At the top right, we have Moss-Coated Hopper. And at the bottom right, we have Anxious Nibbler. 3 out of 5 of these are confirmed to be through pet battles out in Corthia. I imagine that's where the other 2 come from as well. However, it's not confirmed sources, but I would think if 3 out of 5 are there, they're probably all through the same source. As for abilities, we have Scratch, Swallow You Whole, Leap, Gnash, Lick, and Chew. Okay, next up. At the right, the blue one is called Death Roach, and the green one is called a Vile Death Roach. These both can be found through pet battles in the Maw, and their abilities will be Scratch, Needle Claw, Refuge, Stench, Apocalypse, and Death and Decay. I personally love the pets that have Apocalypse. I think they bring a nice little challenge to pet battling. Okay, next up we have these guys. So on the right side we have Lil a Bomb. And on the left side we have Fodder. The source for these ones are currently unknown, but I do have the abilities for you guys. So they will have Bone Bite, Scratch, Sludge Belch, Sludge Claw, Meat Hook, and Reanimate. Okay, next up we have these cute little guys. So the one on the right side is Copperback Etherworm. And the one on the left side is called Infused Etherworm. The source is unknown, but I personally think that they're going to be found out in Bastion. And the abilities is Flyby, Blink Strike, Arcane Storm, Wild Winds, Prismatic Barrier, and Surge of Power. These are going to be some pretty good battle pets. I have a few pets that I use Surge of Power for. That's a pretty strong ability. And yeah, so I definitely think these are going to be a pet that you'll want to go after and level. Next up, we have some rat pets. So the one on the right is called Damp Scrat. The one in the middle is called Rarity. So makes you wonder if he's going to be super rare. And the one on the left is called Scavenging Scrat. So the left and right one, they are reported to be through pet battles at Tazavesh. The Rarity pet, the one in the middle, is a unknown source. And my guess on why it's an unknown source is probably, well, one, they probably haven't found it. But second, because it's called Rarity, people might be thinking it's a rare pet, which is quite possible. You would think that through that name, right? But that's not confirmed. And yeah, my guess is that it is kind of a rare pet, but I think it's still through pet battles and it's an RNG on you having him as maybe a back pet or something. That's my guess. But aside from the Rarity pet, you can get them at Tazavesh, the Veiled Market. The abilities are Chomp, Nibble, Uncanny Luck, Barb Stinger, Survival, and Feed. Okay, so these next 3 pets actually take gray vendor items to purchase. So we'll start at the left side. That one is Ruby Baubleworm. You'll get them out of Oribos at the vendor Keeper Tahalt. And the cost of this pet is going to be 1 ground gear, 1 Robbles wobbly staff, and 1 very unlucky rock. In the middle, we have Topaz Bobbleworm. Same deal. his materials you'll need to purchase him with is Rotting Bear Carcass, a Dark Iron Baby Booties, and the Stoppable Force. And then on the right we have Turquoise Bobbleworm. Same deal, and you will need 1 rabbit's foot, 1 large slimy bone, and a frayed knot to purchase this pet. So all 3 of these can be purchased in Oribos with the correct supplies. And as for their abilities, those are Poison Spit, Tail Slap, Acidic Goo, Light, Burrow, and Prismatic Barrier. Now there's one more skin for that kind of pet. This one's a little pricier, which is why I separated it from the bunch there. So this is the Flawless Amethyst Baubleworm. This one you can get from that same vendor, Keeper Tahelt, out in Oribos. The difference is the currency is 10,000 polished pet charms. So that may be a bit of a grind. As far as abilities, they're exactly the same as the other 3. Next up, we've got these guys, these Devourers. So on the left side, we have Devourling, and on the right side, we have Gnashtooth. Gnashtooth actually has no source, but Devourling does. So it's quite possible you get both the same method, but the white one just isn't confirmed. So Devourling can be found out as a pet battle in Korthia, and the abilities on these pets will be Face Bite, Absorb, Headbutt, Devour, Soul Rush, and Screech. Now for the list of mismatched pets. We have at the left side the Amaranthine Stinger. The source is unknown, but his abilities will be Blink Strike, Bite, Uncanny Luck, Prowl, Pounce, and Fade. At the middle top, we have the Wild Corpsefly. This will be obtained through a pet battle in Korthia, and his abilities is Rabbit Strike, Glowing Toxin, Siphon Anima, Shriek, Drain Power, and Wild Magic. At the bottom middle, we have Chompy. His source is unknown, but his abilities are Furious Flapping, Toxic Bite, Sludge Belch, Ravage, Toxic Fumes, and Consume Magic. And our final pet at the right is our Timeless Mechanical Dragonling. His source is unknown, but I've got to guess at him possibly being a Legion time walking pet. But don't quote me on that. We don't know the source. His abilities are Breath, Flyby, Bombing Run, Thunderbolt, Explode, and Decoy. He is going to be a pet that I want to go after, honestly. I love Thunderbolt, Explode, Bombing Run is awesome. Like, those are all really good abilities on one single pet. So definitely, I would highly suggest that pet. And he looks really cool. I really like the mechanical dragonling I have right now. And his skin for that is definitely pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so next up. At the top left, we have Squibbles. I could have sworn we had a pet like this. Maybe I just thought we did because of the mount we got in BFA. But, from Mechagon there. I think it was through the Mechagon when we got Flight. So maybe I thought there was a pet that went with that. I don't know. But no matter what, there is now. Okay, so the source says Squibbles comes from a Grummel pouch, and it also says you get that pouch from an NPC called Anthe, or Anti. however you say it. So I'm not totally sure what that means, but that is how, maybe there's some daily kind of like oracles. You remember, to get that mount for oracles, you did the dailies, and then you would buy the pouch, and then you had a chance to get the mount out of the pouch. Maybe it's similar in that way. That would be my guess. But that's all we know at the moment. And as for abilities, he has Furious Flapping, Chain Lightning, Razor Talons, Siphon Gear, Warning Squawk, and Wind Buffet. Siphon Gear is actually a new one. Up until now, this was only available on a Mechagon pet. It was Golden XD, who is a pet you just fight. You can't actually have this pet. So this will be the first time having Siphon Gear on a pet that you can actually make your own. So now it will be available to Squibbles, which is going to make Squibbles quite unique. He'll be the only pet with Siphon Gear. Okay, so at the bottom left, we have Animite Broadling. This will be a pet battle out in Korthia. The abilities will be Rabbit Strike, Glowing Toxin, Siphon Anima, Shriek, Drain Power, and Wild Magic. The pet in the middle is called Sinful Screecher. The source is unknown, but I imagine it's gonna come from Revendreth. That's all I can guess at. So yeah, that's we know nothing really on that one. But we do know the abilities. So the abilities is Face Bite, Sonic Blast, Screech, Nocturnal Strike, Predatory Strike, and Call Darkness. And the pet on the right is the Scurrying Ma Rat. This will be a pet battle out in the Maw, and his abilities will be Flank, Death Coil, Death and Decay, Haunt, Corpse Explosion, and Creeping Insanity. Next up, we have these two. I feel safe in saying that these are not going to be battle pets. While there isn't like super confirmation, I have looked both of these up. And the one on the left, which is RT3M15, and the one on the right, which is Chiro, both are listed as untamable. So that tells me right there that these are going to be NPC only pets, and they are not going to be battle pets. Now, down the road, who knows, maybe that'll change. But the only one I could possibly seeing change would be Chiro. And with a name like that, I don't think so. He would be called something else if he was going to be a battle pet. So which is unfortunate. I'd love to have the dog as a battle pet. Okay, and I left the cutest one for the final one. And that is Sly. Sly is a new pet for 9.1. He is obtained through an achievement, and we do know what that achievement is. So the achievement seems pretty easy and pretty similar to how you get Dodger, who's currently in the game. However, I will say that Sly is probably a little easier to get your hands on than Dodger. Dodger required more than 3 locations, whereas Sly, I get the feeling that with Sly, you just gotta chase him. I don't think it's something you really gotta farm out. I think once you find him the first time, then you just click on him 3 times before he runs away. I definitely think he's probably going to be a lot easier. And as for abilities on this pet, we have Bite, Pounce, Crouch, Disruption, Frolic, and Cleansing Rain. And that concludes the pet video and all the new pets for 9.1. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know which pet was your favorite from the video. I imagine most people probably gonna say Slime because he is pretty darn cute. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.